Not only is it summer season, get out of school season, I almost said get out of jail, but kids would appreciate me for that. It's also garage sale, estate sale, and bargain hunting season too. And the hope is always, with your shopping senses on high alert, to run onto something that captures and totally captivates you, right? That's the thrill of the hunt. Well, my next guest says, find something with a story. That this is what makes the item yours and ensures that you will love it forever. We get a little antique education today from Amanda Herring of Petite Maison Antiques. It's great to have you in studio.
Thank you so much.
You've brought some treasures, and I can't wait to learn more about them. And truly, I'm with you. It's the story, I think, that makes
Absolutely.
the item every time. How would you describe your expertise, Amanda?
Our expertise is born of a passion for antiques and a long time collecting, and then many years on the ground, hands-on experience, and a lot of personal research.
When you say collecting, you told my producer buying trips are where the magic starts. Tell me about these trips that you do.
So my husband and I travel to Europe 3 or 4 times a year.
Okay.
And we select items that are then loaded on containers and shipped back to our wonderful state of Utah, where we can send them home with you. Send them home with anybody who's ready to have an antique.
Really bring these over, you carry the stories over and send them into your clients, your customers' homes.
Yes.
What a fun job.
It is the dream.
First of all, and I know you're so good at it. For those who may be unfamiliar with antiques, what do you mean when you say find out the story of an item?
Well, typically when we talk about a story with antiques, what we mean is provenance, which is the history of an item.
Okay.
And a lot of times we will know as dealers, like this came from this particular house, or this is from this particular city. But sometimes we don't. Sometimes we just know a time period that it's from.
Okay.
So we'll take whatever was going on in history at that time and make that the story. So, for example, this piece was made during the French Revolution. This was what was happening during the French Revolution. Here's who was king and queen, and then we always like to throw in, like, maybe Marie actually touched this, you know, just
then you can fictionize just a little bit.
And we are totally in support of creating your own fictional story around your own antique.
Which I'm kind of smitten with that idea as well. You have the facts, you have the mileposts that you need, that you just described, the timing, you know, the general history. Then you can sort of fill in those gaps.
Absolutely.
And make it come alive for you. Have you always been a history buff, a history lover?
I wish I had known in school that I was going to be doing something with history. I would have paid a lot closer attention. I'm relearning it now.
Yeah, you're going back to school again and again. But for you, I have to imagine that research becomes part of the magic then.
Oh, I love it so much.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, let's get into some of, we're going shopping in the studio today, and you're going to help us storytell and see potential in some of these items that we might otherwise just walk by. Now, this first one, I was immediately taken, but you say these creatures can be controversial.
Yes, the Staffordshire dogs. There are also Dalmatians and cats. I've never actually seen a set of cats, but I've heard that they exist, so I need to see some. But Staffordshire dogs are either really loved or people think they're strange and weird.
I think they're cute.
Aren't they?
Yeah, and
I think so too.
Normally I tend to shy away from the quirky, and I see there's some quirkiness in the design. But I love that you say folklore says there's a set of cats out there somewhere.
Yes, there are. I hear our customers tell us, I have cats. So I need to see them. But, but Staffordshire dogs have been made since the 1700s, or late 1700s, early 1800s, and all the way through the early 1920s. So you can find them at estate sales. You can find them at high-end antique shops. You might find them at a garage sale. Their value depends on when they're from and how they were made. So it's a great thing to find in lots of places.
That covers a long chunk of time, 1800s to
1920. They were still making reproductions of them.
How do you tell it older from the newer?
So there were 2 kinds of molds that were, or 2 kinds of manners of making the porcelain. So the early days, they made it by press molding. So if it does not have a hole in the bottom, like you're used to seeing pottery poured in, you'll see a hole, then it was likely more older. If it has a hole in the bottom, it's a later reproduction. So that's a first indication. You can also look and see if it's painted on the back and the front. There's lots of different things that will tell you how old, or give you an idea at least. This is probably from the late 1800s. But there's lots on the internet about these guys. There's a lot to read.
The metallic sheen, I mean, the finish is really lovely. All right, tell me about these pillows. Tell me their story. Okay,
so this is an Aubusson pillow. Aubusson is a part of France where they've made tapestry since the 1400s.
Aubusson?
Aubusson.
Okay.
They always painted a cartoon first, so the beautiful painting, and that's what the weavers would weave from. So this one's an authentic Aubusson, but this is a reproduction Aubusson. And they're Tapestry pillows in general are classic, traditional. They're always going to work in a decor. They're not going to go out of style. So whether you're buying like a really beautiful antique piece or a reproduction or a garage sale find, they're really great pieces.
It started as a cartoon.
Yeah, well, that's what they called it. It was just a
picture.
beautiful picture.
Yeah, yeah. So not the character per se, but just the picture that then
Yes.
became the jumping off point.
Yes.
And how are you caring for antique tapestries? That always scares me.
Well, you have to be super careful
Yeah.
about cleaning. We just don't. We just don't clean them.
We just, it's part of the
Dust
story.
it and leave it.
Woo-hoo. Okay, all right, what's next on your list? These pots, you say?
Silver trays. is
Silver
what's-
trays.
Yeah, silver trays. Trays in general are fantastic. I collect silver, and we use them for charcuterie.
Oh.
Lots of people use wood or different kinds of trays, but I love silver under my charcuterie, so they're great. That you can find them all kinds of places. A little bit of polish goes a long ways. They're really fantastic.
Okay, old paintings, also something to look for that you say carry a story all
Yes.
their own?
And we love really beautiful framed paintings and gorgeous frames, but we also love paintings that are just on a board that you can set in a curio cabinet or, paintings of any sort. As long as you love it, that's all that matters.
If it speaks to you, they say,
Yes.
right? Tell me about these mirrors, Amanda, in conclusion. These are stunning.
Yes, mirrors are a favorite at our shop. My husband likes to say they're his spirit antique.
Yeah.
So these are two mirrors. We have a Venetian mirror and a French mirror. They're very old, and we brought those to show the foxing. So you'll see the deterioration in the mirror.
It's called foxing?
Called foxing.
Okay.
And most people might look at it and think like, oh, that mirror is ruined. But this is actually super desirable. So if you find a mirror with foxing when you're searching, just know that that is something that makes it more valuable and more desirable.
Nice. Well, thank you for the education
Yeah.
and thank you for the enhanced appreciation for the story behind these items. And I'm not comparing because it doesn't stretch back to the 1800s, but I did have a card catalog that I had refinished, and in the back, there was a little paperclip with the University of Utah Library.
Oh, stop.
It's that, right?
Yes.
I loved the piece before, but now that I know where it came from and that
Yes.
there's history to it, and I appreciate that you've pointed us to that direction, to the story, to the
Yes.
story path. Where can we see more of your lovely collections?
Well, you can follow us on Instagram, Petite Maison Antiques, or you can stop in the shop. We're in Draper, Utah, and we'd love to see you anytime.
You're very good at what you do. You're a great team, I know, with your husband as well. Thank you very much. We appreciate it.